welcome to a new Harry's Garage video, and this is all part of this tour to Italy to see that concorso on Lake Como. And you now find us on the Gotthard Pass. We're at the top of the Gotthard Pass. There is a lot of snow up here and we're heading back to the UK, and it's been just a fantastic trip so far. Fantastic weather since we got to Lake Como. Warm this morning, and we've come up today and there's just the odd shower around, but not too bad. So yeah, the car is getting increasingly grubby. I'm very interested when it does finally get clean, just to see if there are any stone chips after doing all this topaz thing. I think it's absolutely fine, but too grubby to tell. Quick look to where we are. You've got to watch it. If you're coming to Switzerland and you want to do a pass, it's May 26th at the moment, and even this late, you know, into spring, almost summer, most of the passes are closed. Gotthard Pass is one that opens a bit early. I think it was 16th of May, so you've really got to watch it. But we're sort of, if you head up and put Andermatt in, you have a choice of wonderful roads here, wonderful passes. Fuka Pass here, certain pass down here. There's the old original cobbled pass just the other side of here. You see it from the main Gotthard Pass. That one is actually open today as well. We just got a glimpse of it as you dive through the tunnel. But yeah, we're heading tonight. We're going fairly scenic because we're not going back to the UK via the Eurotunnel. I want to change our routes just from interest. So we're actually going back on Brittany ferries from Le Havre, and it's an overnight ferry, so we have to be in Le Havre for I think it's 9:15 sailing. So we're going to Beaune tonight because it's a town we know, very beautiful, just south of Dijon. But yeah, just some fun things. I thought I'll just show you some things on the Porsche. Oh, before I do that, there's our bag of crisps, so we can, that's very tight. We're just wondering if it's going to pop. That tells you the sort of altitude we're at. I don't know what altitude we are, but it's several thousand meters, and you can tell from our bag of crisps that was from Eurotunnel. Now I'm just going to show you some quirks on a 911 of this age. It's a dried sumped engine, and for checking the oil, it's not like a normal car. And I'm going to have to start the engine for this, but if you just come round to the cockpit here, I'm going to start the engine because you need to do it with the engine running to check the oil. So there we go. We have an engine running, and you get a gauge here. And when you're normally running with any revs, you can just see there is oil in it. But if I just rev it, it's very worrying. The oil level goes into the red, and some people panic. Oh no, that is normal. The oil is being pumped around the engine, and as the revs rise, then it goes more to the engine than in the reserve tank. So that's perfectly normal. But you've got all sorts of switches here. This car has a sunroof, which I really like. That is there. A hidden switch under the dash, as you can see here. This little rocker one here, well, that is the mirrors. That is if you want to adjust the left mirror, and if you want to adjust the right mirror, you have to do that. And then the mirror adjustment is on there. Perfectly logical when you know. Then, wipers. If I want to put the wipers here, the stalk, you can't really see it, but the stalk there, that has 3 speeds of wiper, but it doesn't have an interval position, because that is controlled by this knob here with a wiper blade on it there. And that one, the first click is its interval wipe speediest. If I put it all the way round, then it won't work for about, well, I don't know, 40 seconds. And I put it back to its speediest position, and it'll do wipe again. So you sort of leave that on and then operate the wipers, and that's how you get interval wipe on a 911. It's all very mad. You have to sort of know this stuff. Now, I want to check the oil. The engine is hot, so you wait for the engine to be hot, and then while it's still running, I hope you can still hear me, you have to check it with all this whirling and dangerous and take your finger off sort of stuff. And you have to open the cap You do this, I'll put that there, and then hiding in there is a dipstick. And there's the dipstick. And I wipe the dipstick, I can just see I've got a bit of oil. It's not quite level ground here, and I know I'm good for oil. And I could do with it a little bit hotter. But there you go. It's 2.5 litres between the marks. I'm fine, because they hold a lot of oil, a 911, a turbo like this. So that's 2.5 litres from there. I'm absolutely fine. I'll probably put a bit more oil in it in Beaune. But that is how you check an oil on this 911. I don't think health and safety would like this at all. There you go. Right. So, what we'll do now, down the Gotthard Pass, a bit of Switzerland and into France. Just come down from the Gotthard Pass, and we're now on the Swiss motorway network, heading in the direction of France and Beaune tonight's stop. But yeah, since when we're at the top of the Gotthard Pass, I just went, there's a cafe up there and you see this lake, and we went down into it, and I suddenly saw the Tremor Pass, this cobbled historic pass by the Gotthard Pass. And it's so pretty, we just had to go and have a quick sneaky look at it, and we did the first section. But then there is a way of actually coming down, sort of going northbound if you like, and you can do a small section of it and then rejoin the main Gotthard Pass as you descend down in the direction of, well, Beaune, I suppose. And it's just so pretty. And then we stopped off for lunch in Andermatt. And it's quite a good base, Andermatt, to just have on the map, because there are a number of passes that operate out of there, and it's just a really cool town. If you watch my Countach video, you will know that it has a family connection as well, because my ancestor was skiing there just before the First World War. I just find it remarkable, the pioneers skiing and how hard it was in those days, but there they were. Anyway, and then we descended down, and I'm now a bit grumpy because just before we joined the motorway, there was a section of road, big, wide, nothing on it, and it went to a 60 km/h limit, and I slowed down and I thought I was just not quite concentrating, and then noticed a camera and I got flashed, and I think I was doing 65 km/h in a 60. And that I'm afraid is the story. If you are travelling in Switzerland, the cameras are set to the speed. There is no sort of plus 10% and a little bit. You get flashed if you're 1 kilometre over the limit in Switzerland, and the fines can be really quite big, which is a pain. I try desperately to be on my best behaviour in Switzerland, but there you go, a moment's lack of concentration. And I have to say, with a classic car and the Speedo, this car, you only get 60 and then the next one's 80. There's a little dot in between. It's a tiny space like this, because the Speedo goes up to 300. It's no excuse, I know, but it is extremely hard to judge your speed in this thing. And it also underreads, I know this Speedo, because it's got the 17-inch roof wheels, and you're about 60 is 61 or 62 real. There you go. Anyway, grumble over, we're head on, and just this spectacular view outside. We did actually, the cloud base came right down. That's the other thing about being in the mountains, you can never quite predict the weather. You've got about 5 hours to get to the hotel from here, so yeah, about 450 kilometres. agrola fuel. I have no idea the quality of this fuel. It sort of sounds like farmer fuel to me. Hear those goats. They're like a biofuel, I don't know. Who knows? 48 litres. I'm going to work it out. Well, morning from Beaune in central France. We stayed at Le Cep Hotel, which is this wonderful place here. We've stayed here a few times. It's just a hidden gem, really. It has a private car park, which I look for. It's right in the centre of Beaune, and it sort of has these ancient sort of parts of the buildings, 15th century or something, and it's a surprise. You just uncover sort of different layers of this hotel, and yeah, it's a real favourite of ours. And you really want to go to Beaune because it's a great stopping off point, and it's fabulous shopping here. Unfortunately, as you can see over there, yeah, we have succumbed to doing a bit extra shopping here, but there's a reason for that. Now, yesterday, yeah, we came across from Switzerland to here, and if I just show you on a map exactly what we did, because we had a fun time on the road. Well, Switzerland, a knot of motorways, we're on the motorways, but if you're coming to Beaune, if I just show you, there's Dijon. So this is the main route, autoroute south, A6. Beaune is there. So we were in Switzerland, and we went round Lucerne, and then sort of towards Geneva. And then there's a bit of a knot here. Be aware it does get of a queue as you come out of Switzerland to come into France. But this bit is just fabulous roads, a sort of forgotten corner of France down here. And yesterday, so we made our way over to Beaune. You then get onto the autoroute, the final bit, but it's just this bit here. You can see the green telling me it's scenic and things. There's the D5 and the 6, 7, 8 round here. Anyway, we did that, and it was just a reminder of when French roads are good. They're really good, quiet, sweeping and empty. But there was a fun moment when a Peugeot 308, just nothing, just a black Peugeot, appeared, and he was going to go quicker than me. He came past me and then took off, and I couldn't help but follow. And then there was a real nasty bit of road, and I just couldn't keep with him. And I thought, this is fantastic. But he had that subtle suspension, what made French cars famous. Here was a challenging bit of rural countryside and a lumpy bit of road sweeping through. And I don't know, it just tickled me that this Peugeot 308 had a suspension, the perfect car. And I love it when locals, yeah, still enjoying their cars in this part of France. But yeah, the Porsche 911, I can't get over how much you can pack into it. And it's a surprise because it's this small footprint of a car, but because it has this sort of rear seat area, you can buy that extra thing or go do a little bit of shopping. But in the front, it also is a bit of a surprise. You have to be a little clever with the packing. There's soft bags only, and you start with the big back of the top because that's the deepest part of the boot, and then your next sort of bag in needs to be slightly wedge-shaped. Think of a piece of cheese, so that's sort of lower at the top than it is at the bottom, and then it gets a bit shallow this end, so now I can have my computer bag there, and I can stuff a bit of a coat in here. The carpet in here, it's all weird, Porsches. But anyway, that's quite a lot of bags in there, but you have this huge area behind the seats as well, and that's, we've got a suit bag in there, got a camera bag. Mr. Roof very kindly gave me a poster. Well, obviously you can get that in, and then our bit of shopping from today. So all good. Now I'll show you what I'm going to do today. Having done the trip back to the UK so many times, you end up quite often just doing this monotonous autoroute all the way up, and then you do the Eurotunnel and across. From here, I'll find my bearings again. Beaune is here. We're actually going back to the harbour. That is only 5 hours away from here, and if you do it straight on autoroute, straight across. If you've got time, just dive off into these roads. Now this is a Michelin map, and I always use Michelin map, and while I don't show it on Google Maps or just show it in graphic form, because do search out those roads with green on. They are the ones that are, classed as scenic and worth driving. You'll get to see some great vistas of France. And the other thing to look for, if you're looking for a coffee stop or something, look for a town with a square on it. And they're just of extra interest or historic interest or something. There's something about them if they have a square around it. So that is what I look for. And that's why I use Michelin maps when I do these sort of road trips. And I just want to do this. So we're going to do 5 hours to Le Havre. We'll catch a 9:16 p.m. boat, and it's an overnight trip back to Portsmouth. You have a lovely cabin on board, you have a meal on board. It's just a bit more of an adventure, and then you get kicked out in Portsmouth. I think it's 7 or half 7 in the morning. And then we'll be home in Oxford sort of 2 hours later than that. No M25, and then that horrible M20 motorway, M25, and it's just a drag, and it's not the greatest end to a journey. So I think what I'm going to do now, we'll just pack the final bits, our little bit of shopping, and catch the ferry, and then you'll catch up with us in the UK, and I want to just do a debrief of the car, some stats on the journey. And I also want to clean the car and just see what it looks like underneath to see if the PPF has done its job. But for now, today, we just enjoy a bit more of France and catch the ferry tonight. Well, I'm pleased to report we are now back in the UK, and the last time, we were at Le Cep Hotel in Beaune, and we did that cross-country route to Le Havre. Yes, it didn't quite go according to plan. The positives: we set off from Beaune, and you hit some brilliant roads and scenery, all that wine region, all those vines you see stretching into the distance, empty roads, wonderful. And then it sort of changes to forest, and it was fantastic. The first section of that route, we stopped, we had some lunch, we found one of those pizza dispensers by the side of the road. This is a new thing in France, and it's quite fun. And they literally have a dispenser there, and you tap on a screen as if you're like at McDonald's, and you choose the pizza you want, and it spits out a ready cooked pizza, and it's pretty good actually. And it was like we were just giggling because we're in like the perfect car for it, because obviously we've got the picnic tray at the back of a Porsche Turbo, and it's heated, so it just kept the pizza nice and warm, and everything was good. But I knew I had a little bit of a race on to get to the ferry thing, so I just put into Waze, Le Havre, Brittany Ferries, car ferry, and off I went, not taking a lot of notice of the route. And initially we were all through the lanes, and then we got on the autoroute, and then we seemed to get close to Paris, and then we seemed to get really close to Paris, and then the traffic sort of was a bit busy, and I found myself on the Paris periphery, and I thought, oh flip, I wished I'd checked the route Waze was going to take us in. It was all right. We got to the ferry and all was good, loaded on. Brittany Ferries, helpful as ever, watched the car on and off on the ramps, good meal on board. I like doing a ferry, it just adds that little bit of adventure, I think, to the trip. So that was all good. And then you get kicked off. It says 7 o'clock in the morning, but because you're coming from France, if you're on French time, it's 8 o'clock, so it's not that bad. And then we hit the M27, and it was rubbish. There's roadworks, there's queues, and you think, oh God, Britain, what? It just comes to a standstill. I know it was sort of rush hour, and then you get on the M3, we had to get on, and that was queuing as well. So it didn't, the route back, apart from the initial bit with Beaune, wasn't quite as good as hoped. But we're now on the way home. The car is absolutely filthy dirty. It's going to get washed tomorrow, and I just thought I'd just run through some of the things I've learnt on this trip. Well, 2,000 miles, not a nothing on the car. There was a slight hiccup once when I pressed on the autobahn, coughed, hasn't done it again. The only other time I thought, oh, what's going on? It was running like offbeat, and it didn't sound, it was on 6 or 5 just to sort of tick over, and then it ran fine, and then realised I was at 2,000 and something metres up because I was on a pass, and as soon as you got nearer to sea level, it ran absolutely fine. So that's great. I put a litre of oil in it, and it averaged about 20 mpg. So all good on that front. Other things I've learned, I love the seats. I absolutely love these seats. They give you a bear hug. These are the sports seats, and they have these deeper side bolsters, and haven't altered the seat the whole journey. Mrs M is particularly fussy on seats, never mention the seats, never alter the seats, so a big positive for those. Another one I love, the sunroof. Sounds ridiculous, but it's so easy to operate. It's a little gap, it's not a huge sunroof, just brings in daylight, makes you feel connected, and I find I use it a lot because it's so convenient. Nothing would persuade me to have a convertible 911 having lived with this and its sunroof. Engine. Oh my god, this engine. I feel extremely lucky to have an LRI spec engine, as they term it, this high horsepower engine that Manfred Friesen had built for this car. 391 horsepower, but it's more than that. It's 3.4 litre. It has a much, I don't want to say racier cam, but a more active cam that goes in the turbo. The 911 turbo, 930 turbo, is deeply detuned, very low compression ratio, soft as anything cam, and small valves. I was talking to Mr. Roof about it. He says that the theory then was, because it's forced induction, you can push air into it. It doesn't need to do anything special. This, because it's been enhanced and runs a higher compression ratio and different turbo, all the sense of it has mid-range punch. It's sort of, you just touch the throttle. You don't need full throttle, but it's just more active. The engine is in a much higher state of tune off boost, and it just makes it so drivable, and with the 5-speed gearbox as well. And you know, I mentioned it several times in the video, this on the autobahn at 180, 240 kilometers an hour, well over 100 miles an hour, stable as anything, just made for it. The only thing just brings you back, it feels more modern, way more modern than 1989. The only thing that brings it back to 1989 is the fact it has no power steering, so just it does load up in corners, and on those passes we're doing it's just heavier steering than goes with the performance, which is a bit weird. The air conditioning is a bit weak. I didn't have it pumped up, but it's never been particularly strong. Another positive, no squeaks or rattles at all. If you can hear a rattle on this video, it's from the camera, it is not from the car. It feels absolutely solid, beautifully put together. And also the other thing I love about the car, it's just the small footprint, and I think it's really handsome. It just carries its muscle. It's lowered, those roof 17-inch wheels, the black headlights around the gills, it just looks right to me. And I love also that the performance, it still feels quick. Now it's a 300 horsepower per ton car. That's quite a lot. I'm just going to overtake, and it does make overtakes like this very easy. So the performance is right up to date. I do not feel in any way I'm driving a classic car. It's bizarre, but it is. It's 36 years old, is it? I don't know what it is, something like that. So I love that about it as well. But the final thing, I want to see what this car looks like once I get it to the garage and it gets detailed by JB Mobility tomorrow. I cannot wait to see if it looks as sparkling as it did when I picked it up from Topaz. Are there any stone chips? But so I'm going to finish off tomorrow. It's filthy at the moment. I've done some video in the garage of it in its current state. Let's just see what it looks like after a day of detailing. And here it is, all finished, all detailed, and looking, well, I think pretty extraordinary. So shiny. And it doesn't really look as though it's done 2,016 miles it was in total. Yeah, I've really gone round it, James has as well, because London Concours is next stop, which we go down to tomorrow. No stone chips here. This was my main aim because I just got peppered when we went to Spain last time. Not a mark, nothing on here. This is, I say, double. There's a PPF there, and then there is a second layer here. And there isn't anything on it. And go round, nothing here. I thought there might be something here, just all the chips coming up there. And then the front valance, last time going to Spain, it was a bit of a mess because it's white undercoat and it was marked up quite badly from stone chips. There is one mark we have found over the whole car, and that is a little tiny mark there, and it's a stone chip. But it's not broken the paint, it's actually sort of bruised the PPF. They talk about this self-healing and things, I don't know, we'll just keep an eye on it, but that is the only mark we can see on it. So yeah, quite a trip that was. Wonderful to find a bit more about its history. Friesen Motorsport, I just loved what Manfred background he gave me on this car. I had hoped he might have had a photograph of it pre-restoration, but he hadn't. But he confirmed that this is basically how it looked when it came to him for restoration. And then we went down to Porsche, saw that extraordinary collection, and they also confirmed something that I knew already, that they do not have any records from the 80s when this car was created of exclusive. What Mr. Wheelwright was doing was between the customer and Mr. Wheelwright and engineering these sort of cars. And it's a bit frustrating, but that is for all cars made during this period. And part of me would love to have something, an official invoice or something, but I know it's a very special car, this one. So that's part of the mystery of buying a car like this. I wanted to confirm what I have heard through research, but not from an official source, that there are only 21 Turbo S's made during the period when this car was built. There were 10 Son Auto Turbo S's, separate to the 21 like this. Basically, it was a customer who didn't want a flat bow Porsche, he wanted a flat bow, all the mods on flat bow, but with regular headlights. And I'm with him on that one because I think it's a better looking design. But anyway, it was fantastic on that trip. I hope you've enjoyed these series of videos across Europe and finding out things and going to that Ferry and UK in Lake Como as well. But this is the end of this video. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, well, don't worry, there'll be more videos coming along very soon. Thanks for watching.